This is Chris with Dive Zone Scuba for another technical diving tips, techniques, and trips video. Hello, this is Chris with Dive Zone Scuba. Thanks for joining me today. We've been in Bonaire the last week doing some technical dive training and also some technical diving, and we're going to now do some recreational diving the second week that we're going to be here. So one of the things that we had to do this past week was we had to switch between manifolded doubles and independent backmount doubles due to the problems obtaining manifolded doubles here in Bonaire. So prior to this trip, we had always used Dive Friends Bonaire to acquire our manifolded doubles, but we were notified this year that they no longer have those. And so for the courses that require manifolded doubles, such as PADI Tech 50 and PADI Tech 65 Normoxic Trimix, we had to obtain manifolded doubles. So the problem with, since Dive Friends Bonaire doesn't have manifolded doubles, we had to seek our manifolded doubles from another source. So we ended up going up to Oil Slick Leap and used the new Area 9 dive shop that is run by Mr. G to obtain our manifolded doubles. The only problem with this is that is the acquisition of additional fills while you have the tanks. So in one case, we actually went up to Oil Slick Leap from Den Lemon, where we're at right now, in order to get a fill, and we also had to go downtown to the Bonaire Hydro and Maintenance Facility in order to get fills. So it is very inconvenient here in Bonaire because we have to get fills for the manifolded doubles elsewhere other than Dive Friends. Alright, so what we're going to be talking about in this video today is the use of independent doubles for technical diving and also recreational diving, and some new developments that I have discovered on this trip. Alright, so here is the typical rig that I've been using, and in the last video for recreational diving, what I actually did was I had two transmitters on either post, and not only do you have to have an extra transmitter in order to do this, but you also had to do some swapping around and some reconfiguration. So one thing that I discovered and started doing on this particular trip is taking the submersible pressure gauge on the left post and moving it to the other side of my regulator. Originally, when I do manifolded doubles, it's on this side, and so because the valve is backwards, you have to do that. And so with independent backmount doubles, all I need to do is unscrew the port here and put the port back in here and take the submersible pressure gauge and take it from this side to this side. And so rather than clipping it to the belt in order to minimize the amount of excess hose, possible entanglement issues, and so on, I am now feeding the hose next to my inflator. Okay, so this only requires one port to be unscrewed and one pressure gauge to be changed. So that makes it much more convenient to switch back and forth between manifolded doubles and independent backmount doubles. The right side, right post configuration stays exactly the same, and so with minimal effort, you can go between manifolded doubles and independent backmount doubles. So that's what we did for this trip when we kept having to switch back and forth. So because of the sequencing of the courses, I had to do that a few times. One of the great things about diving on Bonaire is the varied amount of diving that you could do. So you could actually do a trimix dive in the morning with a set of manifolded doubles. You could do another shallower technical dive in the afternoon with independent backmount doubles. Note the valves are facing opposite directions. And then you could even do a night dive with a single tank. So what independent backmount doubles allows you to do is to not only dive with independent backmount doubles, but also with the manifolded set of doubles and also a single tank. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take a look at the process of switching between some of these, particularly independent backmount doubles and single tanks. So what I'm going to do in this video is demonstrate the process of switching between an independent backmount double setup and a single tank setup. Alright, so we already have our PCD configured in the independent backmount double setup, and so we have two sets of lower bands here and two sets of upper bands here, and we are going to take those off here in a minute, and we're going to put on a single tank adapter so we can now dive recreationally with a single tank. So the process is pretty simple, and I have the straps, the tank band strap, set up a particular way that makes it pretty efficient to switch back and forth between the two. And so I have, in this case, I have one-piece tank bands. I don't have the ones that can separate. And so all you need to do is take these out from the slots, remove them. Here goes one. Okay, then here's a second one. This is the lower one on the left side. Taking this one out. Oops, getting a little tangled here. And this one has the anti-slip pad on the outside, and I have it installed on the buckle end so that I don't have to mess with the tank, the anti-slip band on there, putting it on and off. And then I'm going to go to this side here, take this one off. Bend at the right angle, you can actually just squeeze it out in one piece, just a little faster. I'm not really timing myself, but pretty rapid operation. And as I may have mentioned before, that can be important if you're going to be continuously switching back and forth between different configurations. It's actually very important to have the right size tank bands for this operation. This one is a relatively short one. There are some that are made for use with a single tank adapter and also 8-inch tanks, and those tend to be too long. Okay, so I've got that out. Now, in order to dive independent backmount doubles, you must have your wing attached to the plate. Alright, so I'm going to take those off. Take both of those off. And I'm going to use the same set of bolts and nuts to attach the single tank adapter. Okay, so I've got both of those off now. And I've got my single tank adapter here. I'm going to flip over my rig so I can put the single tank adapter on there. I've got that. And I'm going to pretty much use the same bolts that I had. One of my bolts is longer. Well, it should be longer than the other. I'm going to put that through here. And then this is always the funny part here, is getting this on while the bolt doesn't slip out of position. But you don't want to tighten it completely because you might need to wiggle it around a little bit. And then I've got my second bolt, and that's going down underneath here. Of course, the square notch in the single tank adapter prevents the bolt from slipping. Okay, so I am now ready to put my tank in and stick them on. Stick the tank bands closed like we would a conventional manner. Okay, so that's a quick change between independent backmount double setup and a single tank adapter setup. If I were to have multiple rigs, I might not have to do all this, but for traveling purposes, weight restrictions and so on, you want to try to use the same equipment and reconfigure it as necessary. While I was in Bonaire, a couple of kind of funny things happened. One was toward the beginning of the trip, I was setting up my gear for an independent backmount doubles configuration, and an individual that was at the dive shop saw me doing that, and he came over there and he said, "Hey, aren't you that guy on YouTube?" It turns out this guy was a local diver in Bonaire, and he happened to watch the YouTube channel and recognize what I was doing. There was another incident later on in which we were at a retail store, and I was getting ready to pay for a book for my wife, and a guy came up to me with his wife and said, "Hey, I recognize you. You're the guy with the YouTube channel. I watched your videos on how to set up a backplated wing." So I thought those were kind of funny incidents that occurred while I was down in Bonaire. There was actually a third one, which was took place at the airport on the way back. It turns out that I was in one of the little transportation trams with another guy and his daughter, and he started looking at my transportation rig setup with the duffel bag with the plate attached to it, and also my small wheeled piece of luggage, and he said, "I've seen that before. You're the guy that has that YouTube channel that talked about that." So had some interesting YouTube subscriber encounters on the recent trip to Bonaire. Now, having said that, what I really wanted to talk about here for the end of the video was the fact that the individual that I saw, his name was Frank, that I saw in the retail scuba store, set up his backplated wing using the pouch, and he was having a little bit of a issue with that with respect to the crotch strap. So I'm going to spend a couple of minutes talking about the configuration that I have that I used for this entire trip. Alright, so many of you have seen the previous videos where I talked about the holster, the Velcro holster for controlling or taming the long hose. I have that on here. And then you'll see on this particular rig that I have two buckles on there. And this was to deal with the symmetrical issue of the pocket and also diving with different thicknesses of wetsuits and also with the dry suit, in which the position of the pouch varied if I didn't have some kind of symmetrical arrangement. Alright, so here we're on with the pouch, and generally speaking what I do is I have the pouch attached. This side here is pretty much always attached unless I'm doing some kind of adjustment. And then I've got my excess out here. And then on the back is what I do with the pouch and the crotch strap. So it's not necessary to use a quick release like this, but I put it on there so that I don't have to rethread the utility pouch on the belt. I keep the position of the utility pouch consistent on the belt so it doesn't slip off. Some people who don't do that have an issue with the pouch slipping off. So I have a two-sided piece of Velcro here, and that is held in position by a tri-glide. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. So even if I don't have the buckle here and I have the pouch on there, there's no way for the pouch to fall off, which was the objective of having the double-sided Velcro tape and the tri-glide here. So when I'm putting this together, I of course just put the other end in here. Now let's talk about the crotch strap. So I have here also a little line cutter pouch or a knife pouch, and so if you don't have this here, then what occurs, what you have to go through, is you have to take this and pull it out of this side of the pouch, put your crotch strap through, and then take your waist belt and put it through the buckle. So I don't like doing that. I think it's kind of inconvenient, and so what I have here is I have a quick release buckle. And so the way this works is I get my rig on, and then the very first thing that I do is I take the quick release buckle and I stick it in there like that, and it's very not going to go anywhere. And then then the only remaining thing that I have to do is put my left side of the buckle waist strap through the buckle like that, And again, I put the generally put the little excess through there so I have better access to my D-ring. So this is what this looks like, and I find it very convenient. It does not slip off of the belt, and I do not have to worry about rethreading this part in order to get it through. Okay, so that's what I'm doing these days with respect to the belt. The other thing that you may have noticed is this thing, and I think we also discussed that while we were in the store when I was with Frank. And this is the area where I can actually put my decompression plan and some other information. And if I want to look at it, I can just snap it up and go like that, and I can actually see it very easily in terms of the information that I need. So that's readily accessible. I don't need to have a wrist slate or anything like that. I've got that right there in front of me, and it's easily accessible and easily viewed. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. This is Chris with Dive Zone Scuba, and please subscribe.